Welcome to Women in the Music Industry, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the remarkable women who are breaking barriers and making their mark in an industry that has long been dominated by men. I'm your host, Rob Wells, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on this empowering journey. Each episode of this podcast will be dedicated to exploring the inspiring stories, accomplishments, and struggles of the extraordinary women who have defied the odds and made waves in the music business. Together, we'll delve into the journeys of female artists, songwriters, producers, musicians, managers, executives, and all those who have helped play a pivotal role behind the scenes. We'll uncover the stories that deserve to be heard, as well as celebrate the triumphs, challenges, and unique perspectives that women bring to the music industry. Whether you're a fan of music, an aspiring artist, or simply curious about the inner workings of the music business, this podcast will offer a valuable perspective. Together, we'll celebrate the power of music and the strength of these inspiring women. So join us as we amplify their voices and together pave the way for a future where women in the music business are no longer the exception, but the rule. Today's podcast is sponsored by the Songwriter's Piano, an easy-to-use app for songwriters and lyricists to use when coming up with song ideas when there's no instrument around or nobody to play one. With the Songwriter's Piano, one can easily play commonly used pop songwriting chord sequences at the touch of a screen, in any key, in 3 different chord variations, all played on a gorgeously recorded grand piano. Download the Songwriter's Piano by Play Like Me apps today, found on both iOS and Android stores everywhere. Welcome everyone to another episode of Women in the Music Industry. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the podcast. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. My guest today is none other than Anouk Balins. Anouk is one of my favorite songwriters, hands down. She is also an excellent musician and a very successful troubadour, hailing all the way from the Netherlands. Anouk has been performing for many years for weddings, anniversaries, business events, birthdays, and garden parties. Her extensive repertoire consists of music from different decades in different styles such as rock, pop, easy listening, and Dutch music. Her unique style of songwriting, and boy is it ever unique, it has been making waves over the last few years, inspiring all that have heard it. She is also a really dear sweet friend of mine and a beautiful soul. Everyone please welcome Anouk Balins. Hi Anouk.
Hello. Hi, thank you.
I need to insert like the sound of like a huge audience cheering at that moment, I think. Just like a
Well, what an introduction. Thank you very much.
I mean every word. I'm a big fan of yours, not just as a songwriter and a singer, but as a human being. You and I got to meet through an organization called the Songwriting Academy, where I've been a mentor, and you were taking courses there, and we met up through there through various meetings, one-to-ones, and just right away, I just remember thinking, here's a really great person, but here's a great person that also writes amazing music. And I didn't know anything about the whole troubadour side of what it is that you've done. So that was very interesting to hear as we got to know each other more. I was just a big fan of you and your music, and I think the world needs to hear your music. I don't think that it should be reserved just for me, or for, your friends or those who just happen to stumble across it. I think it's really, really good. I think it deserves to be heard worldwide. And that's why we're doing this podcast, this episode for sure. I want to shine a light on you because I think you've done an amazing job throughout your whole life at being a representative of music. And, so I'd love to just get into everything if that's all right.
Yes. Great. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Anouk, I usually start things way back at the very beginning, and I'd love to know your story. I'd love to know what led you to music, what your initial events were that happened in your life that brought music into your life. Could you just take me back there and sort of run me through everything?
Yeah. I was when I was young, my parents sent me and my sister, my older sister, to recorder lessons, and after that piano lessons. But that was classical because that was in the 70s and the 80s. So there was not yet what you now have with keyboards and learning songs from Taylor Swift or something. No, it was Bach and Haydn. But I liked playing piano. And then I went to a camp for riding horses in the summer. So a week long I was at a camp with other girls and boys, and we rode horses. And there was a campfire, and there was a guy who played guitar and sang. And that's when I thought, oh, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
So after that camping experience, I bought a guitar. And in my hometown, Eindhoven, in the Netherlands, when I was 16, I started to play as a busker, but not for my own cost, but just as extra money, as I was still living at home. But on Saturdays or Friday evenings, when there was a evening where the shops were open longer, I was playing there, and yeah, I made quite some money. And with that, I bought my first real guitar, still yet standing. Yeah, you see it a little bit there.
Yeah.
My old Yamaha FG 345. I really love that guitar. And with that guitar, I continued busking, and I started a bit writing songs in the 90s. But yeah, then also studying, and yeah, that balance.
Can I ask you about the busking? Because, I'm very much a behind the scenes music person. I love sitting in my room here and writing songs and getting out and performing. I would only do that if I was part of a band and there were lots of people that I could sort of hide behind a little bit. But getting out there and busking is really something else, because it's just you and your guitar and your voice, and you're playing for complete strangers who have not paid any money to see you there, but just they're walking by and they're there really for shopping. What's that like the first time that you go and busk? I mean, were you practicing a long time before you went out and busked, or did you just sort of get this guitar and think, I need to do this right away?
Yeah, now you say it and I think back. It was kind of stupid because it was in February, so it was cold. I only had 7 songs, and like I think Angie and Killing Me Softly, songs like that. And I remember I was playing, and yeah, after 7 songs, I have to start again, because then one guy came past me. I already heard that song. But yeah, I just had 7 songs, and a friend of mine was sitting with me so that I wouldn't be alone. But after 2 hours, I think I had made more money than I made in the job I had on Saturday.
Wow.
Working at the bakery. So I thought, let's do that. Let's do this every Saturday for 2 hours, and I have more money than being from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the bakery.
Wow.
So,
and it's all cash too. It's all cash that you don't have to report.
All cash.
Yes, that's right.
And that counts up. You think, okay, it's a euro. They weren't euros yet, but if you count it out, then suddenly it's more money than you think. So
wow,
it was very nice.
And slowly, with each Saturday that you were going there to busk, did you learn more songs, or was it just the 7 that you stuck with? Okay, you learned more.
No, I learned more. Yeah.
Did you see the same people coming back every Saturday to hear you perform, or was it always a new crowd?
No. Yeah. No, it wasn't really a crowd, because at that moment I wasn't yet capable, and I didn't want that people stood still. So I was just playing, and I was happy if they threw the money and if I saw that they enjoy it. But it's not been many times that there was a real crowd around me. And it was also, most of the time I was in a little walking tunnel between the shops and the parking place. So it was a moving, but there was a great acoustic. So it was, yeah.
That's right. You get all the nice natural reverb and decay from the hallway that you were in, the tunnel that you were in. How amazing. How amazing. Okay, so your repertoire started to expand and you started to sing more songs. But you're doing all covers at this point. Did you ever start, I know you're saying that you started writing your own songs, but did that ever creep into the busking? Did you ever start putting an original in there ever? No, it was just always covers.
It was always covers and the busking, because I don't think I was still busking, because at 18 or 19, I moved to this city where I live now, Nijmegen. And in Eindhoven, you have a technical university, and in Nijmegen you have a social university. In Eindhoven, I made good money with busking, but in Nijmegen, everybody was busking. So we only keep giving each other money, kind of.
Yeah.
So here the busking was not as lucrative. And I started here with the first bands, little bands, groups.
Okay. With busking,
yeah.
Busking still, or were you now moving?
Not busking.
Okay,
no,
so you're
that
now
was rehearsal rooms and sometimes a gig.
Oh, great!
But,
and where would you be gigging at that point?
Yeah, in the cafes here in Nijmegen.
Okay.
Or with family. If there was a party with family, then we played there. But none of the bands. And I also did some cover bands where I was backing vocals. But it always never really got from the ground, kind of. It never really got somewhere.
Okay.
So,
but you were enjoying it because you had such a love for music, and you enjoyed playing this. Was the aim to get signed to a record deal with the bands that you were in, or to have it explode that way?
Yeah, that was with the first band we hoped, but we were too young and too stubborn, and no. And I think only two of us were really passionate about it, and the other ones were, oh, it's just a hobby, and then it don't work.
I'll never forget the lyrics to Bryan Adams' song, The Summer of '69, where he talks about the band, the first band that he was in, but Jimmy quit and Joey got married. And I should have known we'd never get far, like just when you have a lot of people where it's just, that's not their dream. They're just doing it as a fun time. You can, you have big dreams yourself of seeing something happen, but it's very difficult to find a band where everybody has the same goal and the same aspiration, for sure. Just going back to busking, one more thing that I wanted to say. I have a friend of mine who used to busk and play bagpipes all the time. And what he would do, what he figured out is that if he would go outside the local sports arena and if he was going on a day, he would see what the game progression was like. And if he was seeing that the home team was winning, he probably wouldn't go. Because everybody would stay until the very end of the game and then they'd all leave all at once. But he said if the home team was losing, he would go and park himself right beside the stadium and play, because slowly people would be trickling out. And he said he would make crazy amounts of money, like up to about $1,000 just sitting there playing bagpipes as people are coming out of a game where they're feeling upset that their home team's not winning. But if they were winning, he said he'd make maybe $10, because they'd all just come out at once, and it would be such a rush of the crowd that nobody would throw in any money at all.
Very smart.
Yeah. He also went over to Europe from Canada, did a whole European trip where he funded his entire trip by just playing bagpipes wherever he went. He would just go and play for the day, and then he'd have enough to get a hotel and a meal and all of that. And he got to visit all of Europe. It's a fantastic way to make some money, especially when you're young. It's great. Yeah. So the progression went into bands, and you were singing backup vocals at this point in the bands. Did you ever go in and be the lead singer in a band?
Yeah, with my first band, I was the lead singer.
Oh, you were? Okay.
But yeah, and that was also with own written music. With together we wrote it. But yeah, that didn't work. And the other bands, I did. Yeah, also an a cappella group with 6 men and me. So
Amazing.
that was a lot of fun. Yeah, but they were also only amateurs. One way or the other, I couldn't get to the professionals. So it was always not the right step I took. But I had a lot of fun.
I'm the same way as you. I went through many different bands, many different horrible situations that I was in, where nothing ever took off. And I eventually left live performance because I realized I was spending more money than I was making every single time. I would spend $20 in parking. I'd get a drink. And then at the end of the night, I would owe, $40, $50 and I'd be paid 30. And, and then I saw another picture that was hilarious. I saw it a couple of years ago about the pandemic. It said, I really miss playing live, but look at all the money that I'm saving right now. It's so true.
Yes. Yeah.
So true what bands get paid, and it's frustrating when it doesn't take off and you have high hopes of it taking off. So tell me about your songwriting. You're writing with the band that you were in. You're writing originals in there and co-writing with everybody. At what point did you just start writing songs on your own and just forgetting about anybody else and just really just writing your own things?
Yeah, that was after the band collapsed. And with my first Cubase VST on an Atari 1040.
Yes.
That was my first, where I could record. I don't know if I could record voices yet there, but I could record the music, and then I think with a cassette recorder, record my voice over it. And I just recently discovered some old tapes, and I heard songs of myself. Oh, didn't know I had that on tape. So that's really nice to
awesome.
rediscover.
I love meeting another Cubase user as well. There's in this area of the world where I live, there's very few Cubase users, but I love the program so much. I've been a Cubase user for years and years and years, decades. It's a great little program, and not that I'm putting down any other computer music sequencing software out there. They're all great, but it's just that's my personal preference, and it's always exciting when you meet somebody else that does that. And you've been a user, I think, longer than I have in Cubase. That's great. Yeah, amazing. I remember those 1040 ST computers, though. They were pretty amazing back in the day. Okay, so you are writing songs by yourself, and you are recording yourself with the virtual instruments on Cubase, recording your voice on tape, and then merging the two things together. Tell me about just the whole Troubadour experience. How did that start coming around? Because obviously you love performance as well. You love getting out there and singing for people.
Yeah, then I have to stay first with that songwriting on my own that I did for some years, and I also performed and did some contests, and just me with my guitar, and sometimes me with piano. That also. And I tried and I tried and I tried, and nothing came from it. And in 2002, I said, I've had enough, and I quit playing music for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I sometimes went to a pub here in Nijmegen to sing at a jam session, but formally I was quitted. I had quit the music because I was very frustrating that I couldn't get and also in 1996, 96, I had a CD, thousand pieces of CDs. It was in the time before internet and before everything. Mm-hmm. So it was I did it myself. And 5 days after I took them from the Fabric, not fabric, the factory. Um, there was another singer that's called Anouk, and her record label dropped her name, so I couldn't use my name anymore. And that was the first step in what do I do? How I was talking with lawyers instead of producers. I was, if you use the name Anouk one more time, you get 35,000 guilders, fine and stuff. And so I was talking with lawyers, and that was not fun. So I still finally I won because my whole name is more original than only Anouk, and nobody can say that I can use Anouk Balins. So okay, I could keep on existing, but and she got everywhere. She is still.
She's still around. Oh, I know. I've listened to Anouk. But this was after you had already pressed 1,000 CDs of your own and ready to send out of your own original music. And then you get all these threatening letters from lawyers. What terrible timing. Terrible timing. I know. Shoba, my partner, she has all of her music out there. And there also turns out to be another artist in India who does a lot of traditional classical Indian music, and her name is also Shoba. And all of Indian Shoba's music has ended up on my Shoba's page, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on everything. And for some reason, Spotify seems like they're unable to remove these songs from her profile. And for 2 years, we've been asking them to do this, and nothing's happening. So we've just finally pulled all of my partner's music off, and we've rebranded. Her name now is Naomi Shoba, which is her first and middle name. And so that's the only way that we've been able to do it. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Especially, if it was before all this era of connectivity and the internet and everything, then you could have gotten away with having your name be out there without any lawyers giving you any trouble. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Something else.
It's
Can we listen to one of your songs? I would love to hear something. You've sent me a few that I have not heard, some that I have heard, but I'm so looking forward to this. I'd love to play. The first one on your list is called Humming Her Song. And could you tell me about the experience of recording that? Because you wrote something really beautiful about these 5 songs that you just got produced in there. Could you tell me the backstory about these productions?
Well, in June I got diagnosed with terminally uncurable lung cancer, with also some metastasis, and that's also why my voice is like this. And I was just on the road had to go to Ireland, to go to Malaga, to meet composers, to meet producers, to keep on songwriting, and but that last half year was kind of a hell. So, but a good musical friend of mine, she called me and she said, we're Dutch, so she said, it's a pity that you're dying, but it would be awful if your music dies with you. So she has a project where she mostly helps young people in connecting with producers or stuff like that. And she put me in that program, kind of. And so 5 of my songs now are produced by a good producer, André van der Bunt. He was really great. And they spent so much time on it, and I think they got the 5 songs that I sent them. I think they got them right. So it's now played with real band, and they used my voice that I recorded here at home before I lost it. So I'm very, very touched and very honored to be part of that program, so that at least those 5 songs are kind of good produced, and I love it.
I love that story as well. I love hearing about that. I am very heartbroken. I know this news of yours, of your diagnosis. I'm so heartbroken about that. However, this is such a beautiful story, though. This is such a beautiful story of just, your music should not die with you. Nobody's music should die with them.
No.
I think everybody's here for a reason. Everybody's here for a purpose. You've got your own story. You've got your own thing to offer the world. And whatever it is, it should get out there into the world. Absolutely. So I'm so thankful to them for coming out and doing this for you. And I can't wait to hear this music again and again and again. And it's going to be on this podcast now, so people around the world are going to be able to hear this music as well. This is great. This is great. And anybody who is listening to this podcast, please go and search up Anouk Balins and listen to more music that you can, and reach out and write something. Tell everyone how you feel about hearing this music, because I know how I feel, and it's just it's all incredible. We're going to open up the first song right here, and this is called Humming Her Song, and I can't wait to hear it. Here we go.
They sit on that bench, same time every day. He quietly makes sure that she is okay. He brushes her hair gently out of her face. She's not aware that he cares. Then that moment of clarity, she says, I know you, I think. He just looks at her and gives her his little wink. And then there's that smile again, that sparkle in her eyes again, and he recognizes the girl she was before. Just one moment. He's humming her song while stroking her hand. His silent tea drops in the sand. He points at the birds, but she doesn't see. She's not aware, but he cares. 'Cause then there's that smile again, that sparkle in her eyes again, and he recognizes the girl she was before. Just one moment. He's stroking her hand while humming her song.
That's so good.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. See, this is what I love about your music. It's just, it's slices of life that I'm getting, you know, little snapshots that you get out of this one little moment that you could just walk by and just think nothing of, or you could zoom in and really see what's happening here. Two people sitting on the bench, same time every day, and just all the things that are going on in here. There's so much to unpack, and just you write with such detail that I feel like I'm right there with you, and just you've taken me on a journey, which is all that I could ever ask. Is this written from an experience that you've had, or something that you saw, or is it just, did you make it up from things you've heard?
Well, we were going to talk about my Troubadour ship. And as a troubadour, I also played a lot in care homes and old people homes, kind of. So, and sometimes there were a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer. But sometimes there was also still a partner that was still clear from mind on visit there. So there I saw those interactions of, the often a woman with dementia and the partner that was still caring, although he went home and she stays there. So I took it from there, from what I tasted there, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to hear a song like that, and just you can't really move on. It stays with you. And that's what every one of your songs has done with me. That I remember every one of your songs. I feel like once I've heard it, they're now a part of me. That I carry it forward with me. And that's a really difficult thing to do in order to connect, to write something that you've personally gone through, but to write in such a way that people will all understand what it is. It's fantastic. You are so talented, Anouk. Absolutely talented. Could we talk about your Troubadour days? Can we talk about, you took 10 years off. What made you come back?
Well, the fun part is, when I quit, that was on a day that I did kind of a contest. And I thought, if I don't go through to the finals, I quit. Because, and there I met a guy, a troubadour, at Citroen. And he liked my music and we connected. But I didn't go to the final. He did. Good for him. Mm-hmm. But I sat back in the train home. I thought, this is it. I'm quitting. I'm done with the disappointments and rejections. And so, and 10 years later, I still kept contact with Ed Citroen. And he was visiting me in 2012. August 2012. And he was a professional troubadour. He played at those parties and with his guitar and semi-acoustic, so often with headset and so a little bit with equipment. Mm-hmm. And he said, you can do that. And I said, no. And he said, yeah, you can. Yeah, and that's why I went doing it. And so with the backup from him, that I could always call him and ask questions, and he got me in contact with 4 other troubadours, and I built up my own business. It was a business, and
how did you even start? How does it? Sorry to interrupt. I'm just so curious. Like, how does it? Yeah. How do you first begin to become a troubadour? Like, do you reach out to different places and say, I offer this service? Is there any time that you need a performance for anything? Or do you have an agent that looks after you, that places you in different things? How does it work?
Well, first you learn a lot of songs.
Okay.
You learn a lot of songs that are the covers that everybody knows and everybody is happy about. And for the elderly home, those old songs like Que Sera, Sera. And so that's the first step. And then you go and check out on internet at the other troubadours. A lot of them have their agenda, or where did they play before. So you can, okay, so those are the places that sometimes ask for a troubadour. And that first year, I know I did 8 rounds with my car, that I made a route with all venues and elderly homes. And I went there, I gave my my card, and I introduced myself. And but also the connection with the other troubadours, when they got a booking, while they were booked, they said, go to Anouk, maybe she can do it. And yeah, after a couple of months, or because they first had to know that I was capable of. Yeah, and in the beginning, you are a little bit hesitant with asking too much money, and that's good, but because then you can make mistakes, kind of. And but I didn't make much mistakes, so I could raise my prices. And yeah, in 2019 I had 105 gigs.
Wow.
Everywhere in the Netherlands and even in Belgium. So
that's amazing. That's a
yeah,
very busy schedule.
Yeah. And especially since the summer is the busiest time. So in February I only had 2 or 3 gigs, but in August it's suddenly 19 or 20. So that was good times.
And can you sort of coast throughout the rest of the year when it's less bookings?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who grew up in the island of Rhodes in Greece, and his parents owned a hotel. And during the holiday months, they were busy. They were just, every week, just a new group of people that was coming into the hotel, and parties and everything. And they would make so much money. And then for the other 6 months of the year, they would just sit back and relax and go into the fields or go to the beach and just, have a great life. And then when the time was, make hay while the sun shines is basically the saying, right? It's that whole thing. Yeah. How amazing. Is it different playing different venues or different, I'm reading in here, like there's business events, there's birthdays, there's garden parties, there's seniors' homes, there's weddings, there's anniversaries. Do you have to have a different set list basically for everything that you do in there, all the different events?
Yeah, because elderly homes, they want the old songs and the recognizable songs and a lot of Dutch songs. And but I did a lot of weddings where they were 25 years married or 50 years married. So you have the whole family. And especially at 50 years married, the people are 70, and then their kids are 50, and then their grandkids, and maybe even smaller kids. So you have to have a whole repertoire.
Wow.
But I also, especially with those weddings, those festivals, 50 years weddings, I had a musical menu. So it's just a paper with 50 songs or 40, it depends how long the party was. And I laid them on the tables, and then people could choose. And they put on a post-it on my guitar with their request of my list. And that's also always nice, because then you can go to a table, oh, you requested Que sera sera, and there you go. And then you have a little bit special moment with those people at that table, and that makes the party a lot of fun. And because I am alone, people could keep on talking with each other, because there was no DJ, there was no band with 5-6 people making noise, especially at the weddings with 50 years. Yeah, those people are older. They were happy with the music, but that the music wasn't that loud that nobody could talk with each other. So,
no, that sounds perfect. Even at the table, people could still talk and just if they wanted to, but I'm sure that they would just be spellbound by your performance. That would be amazing, especially if you're singing a song for them. I have so many questions about this. my memory, I swear I have the memory of a goldfish. I have to write everything down or else I forget it right away. Don't even talk to Shoba about me going to the grocery store. Like, she has to send me a list that I have to follow, like, to the T, or else I'll forget something. One time she sent me, because she was making Mexican food, and she asked me to get cilantro and limes, and I ended up getting parsley and lemons. So
Okay.
yeah, it was a really great moment. But I need to have everything written down, right? How do you remember the lyrics to all these songs? Like, I would not be able to. I'd have to have my phone there, or a piece of paper, or something.
Yeah, that's. I always said at the party, because sometimes people said that to me. Oh, how do you know that all out of your head? I always said, yeah, there's not much other in my head.
Oh, come on.
No, but it's a training kind of thing, and sometimes I didn't rehearse a song or put in my repertoire because it was too complicated. Then I have too long lyrics, and I thought, I pick another song.
Yeah.
So I also choose the songs that were easy or that I know already, or yeah. So, and sometimes, of course, sometimes people were mesmerized, but if it was a lot of talking and I'm just walking around, nobody cares what I sing.
Wow.
So I could repeat one verse 2 times, 3 times. Or sometimes I felt, this song doesn't work. That's right. Bloop, ready. Other song. So, yeah, you can skip sometimes, or pretend you know the lyrics. And sometimes I also sing some French songs. And there was a song of Gérard Lenormand, Si j'étais, niet Si j'étais président, another song, I already forgot. Oh, La Ballade des Gens Heureux. And that's verse. And I also always mix them. But sometimes I saw a person singing with me, and I thought, oh, they know the lyrics. Now they know I don't know them. But as long as you keep on smiling and you look for, oh, sorry, everybody accepts it.
Well,
so,
isn't that, like, I would say that that's half of performance, right? It's how you are emotionally connected to the music. And if you're up there and you're playing for someone, if it looks like you're having a rough time, or you're thinking about things too much, it's obvious. But when it looks like you're having the best time and you're really into it, and you're presenting this image of, this is what I am meant to be doing, and this is what I love doing, and it's really clear, it's on your face, it's in your body language, everything, then I think people are pretty forgiving with all the rest, right?
Very
Even
much.
if they know the lyrics really well, it's like as long as you hit that chorus and you sing it with all your might, and you have everybody else singing along with you, that's great. Has it ever happened that you've shown up somewhere with an idea that this is what I'm going to sing, and then you begin to see that these are not songs that these people know? Maybe I need to switch things up.
I never have a clear set list. I always made, at one time I had a kind of 180 songs in my repertoire. So I choose, and then I made a list that I could put on my guitar, on where I could look down and I see all the titles of the song. So and there was 120 songs.
Wow.
And then the 50 songs on the tables. So I could choose what I want, and I recognize most. One time it was not working, but the other 600-700 times it worked.
That's amazing. And then on your list, did it also tell you what capo to put your capo on, or what fret? Do you use a capo, or were you just playing all?
Yeah.
You did use it. You
No,
just
I
remembered
used,
what. You just remembered what capo to put on naturally. What fret? Wow.
Yeah. But a lot of songs are not that difficult. That Elvis song, one for the money, two for the show. Yeah, it's 3 chords, and yeah, that's kind of easy. So,
I know.
Yeah, I'm also a lazy guitar player, so I use a capo because life is difficult enough.
Exactly. That should be a T-shirt somewhere. Life is difficult enough. Use a capo.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love that. That's so good. That's so good. Can we listen to another one of your songs?
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce this one. Jumpy Dompido? Is that how you say? Sorry, I've probably...
Yumpy Dumpy Doo.
Wow, Yumpy Dumpy Do. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this song before we play it. What's the inspiration behind this?
Well, that was when I first got in contact with the Songwriting Academy. They had the after hours, and that was so much fun. And they sometimes asked, for next week, make a happy song, make a song with an anaphora, blah, blah, blah. And this was make a happy song. And yeah, it worked, I think.
Okay, here we go. And this is just you writing this?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is Yumpy Dumpy Do.
Sometimes the day may seem a little bit too gray. I'll bathe you in light. You see me dance and hear me singing in the rain. And here's the reason why. Long time ago, a friend told me that her brother said to her, he heard a wise man say that all you gotta do when you feel blue, you sing yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy 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 doo. Sometimes the day may seem to lack a bit of rhyme. I give you this song. Just sing and dance when clouds keep blocking out the sun. This will make you shine. Long time ago, a friend told me that her brother said to her, he heard a wise man say that all you gotta do when you feel blue, you sing yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy 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 doo. So now you try and let us sing together now. It's going to be alright. Yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy doo, yumpy dumpy 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 doo. Now shine your light and let us sing together now. It's going to be alright.
I love that. That's so good. Oh, the chorus is so quirky. I love it. Long time ago, a friend told me her brother said to her he heard a wise man say. I love that. It's just like that. All you got to do when you feel blue, you sing Yumpy Dumpy Doo. Oh, I love it. And then the timing that you do in there too, Yumpy Dumpy Doo, where it's like right on beat one, but then you've got this part near the end where it comes in before beat one. Yumpy Dumpy Dumpy Doo. Oh, it's so good. It's so catchy. It's so catchy. It sounds like It reminds me of like something I would have heard off the Grease soundtrack a little bit, like we go together like it's totally right in there. Sounds like ABBA as well, like just your harmonies in there, just the beautiful harmonies that you have going on. Oh, your voice is so good too, but it's just like, I love this message too. No matter what you're going through, shine your light and let's sing together now. It's going to be all right.
Yeah. And the fun part is the pianist on here, his name, it's a Dutch name, is called Joep. And he was asked by the producer, what do I have to do with this song? Can you listen to it? So Joep went into his car and went listening to the song while his two kids, 6 and 8, I think, were in the backseat. And now those kids are singing Joepie-doopie-doo.
Yeah.
So they integrated the name of their father already. So I liked it.
Oh, I love that. That's so good.
Joepie-doopie-doo. Yeah.
I bet if I play that for my kids, they'll love that song as well. It's so much fun. Again, these songs need to be heard worldwide. These are great, great songs. It's amazing. It's amazing. Can we hear one more? I know this one, but I haven't heard this in a long time. The Memory of a Melody. I would love to hear what they did. I have to say as well, the musicians that worked on this and the productions that you got, they're excellent. They're really great.
Yeah.
You're so right. Like they really did get the songs. They got it right.
Yeah. It was really great. And the budget was not that big, but they did more than the budget, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really, really grateful. And they also liked it. I met them, I think, 3-4 weeks ago when I first listened to the songs in the studio of Andre. And they were there. And they were all happy that they could participate. And they also liked it. And the producer, Andre van der Bent, liked this song the most that you now are going to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait. This is The Memory of a Melody.
Clara was the nanny, still a child herself. For 3 years she took care of the boy. Together they were quite alone, so I made my temporary home inside her beautiful soul. There I soothed her worrying heart, to be the lullaby that made him stop crying. Moved back and Clara moved on. For years the boy forgot about being loved. He grew up an angry child, so to end it all he walked away. And in the desert sand he lay. There I crept into the deepest of his soul, to surround him with a soothing sound that makes him whole again. He stood up and went to live a happy life. He wrote some famous book, had some kids, a lovely wife. But he kept wondering about that moment in the sand, the music that he felt. Out of the blue he felt loved again. Years gone by chance they meet. Old Clara recognizes the boy. It's really you, she said. You're the only child I ever had. Let me sing for you once more. And when she takes him by his hands, she starts humming me, and suddenly he understands. I'll be
have no words.
Thanks.
Anouk, you destroy me with all of these songs. You take me on such a wild ride, a wild emotional ride with everything that I hear from you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, another song that needs to be heard worldwide. What a story that is. Like I'm there. I feel like I'm watching the most epic of movies with this. It's just, how do you do that within 3 minutes and 14 seconds? Just create this world where you have this story and you wrap it up and take us through the whole journey and just have the unique perspective that you're telling the story from the point of view from the melody. That is the spirit that is just dancing around the world and going in to help people when they need it. And just, oh.
Yeah. Well, it's also thanks to songwriter Martin Joseph, an English songwriter. He told the story during an online masterclass I followed somewhere. And he told the story about Clara and Morton Kelsey and this story he told. And he said that he still didn't know if he was going to write a song from the perspective of Clara or from the perspective of the boy. And I immediately thought, there's a third perspective. And that's why I wrote this. But yeah, the story I heard from Martin Joseph, and
yes,
I also sent it to him. Thank you.
What did he think? Did he get back to you at all?
Yeah, I only said nice song. So,
that's great. But you had to be the one to hear that story. You had your radar up. And you were thinking, okay, there's a great idea for a song right there. And also the quirky little mind that you have just thought, it's not about Clara, it's not about the boy, it's about the melody. It's about that's just, who thinks of that? You do. That's what I love about your subject matter and the quirkiness of your lyrics. It's so great. It's so different. You're writing these songs that aren't just boy meets girl, girl meets boy, boy falls in love, girl falls in love, gets their heart broken, blah, 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 whatever. These are real great songs that I just feel that they're filled with such texture and real raw emotion. And my life is better for them, for hearing these songs. And I know others feel the same way. Other people that I've spoken to that are also big fans of yours, we always talk about the great Anouk Balins and how your songs just really move us like crazy.
No, thank you.
Did you ever, in your Troubadour years, did you ever sneak any one of these songs, any one of your originals into your performances?
Yeah, one, but that one is not recorded right. But I have one kind of a jingle, Perfect Paradise, it's called. But that's not good enough to let hear. But not the other songs, because these songs I have written also because during the lockdowns and stuff. So my work was for almost 2 years non-existent. I only played in the elderly homes. Yeah, and there you don't have to play new songs.
Right.
So, and just when I got started back up again, I lost my voice. So, but I did play that one, Perfect Paradise, and then always somebody was bopping their head, and it was fun to see. Yeah.
I'm so thankful that you were able to record these songs before your voice being lost.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that you were thinking about that and just making a recording. I mean, I am hoping that your voice comes back. I don't know what the prognosis is of that.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
But
I'm sorry.
Not now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a couple of weeks, I have another scan because the tumor is your vocal cords nerve are from here and then go around the lungs or something in the neighborhood of the lungs, and then they go to your vocal cord. And here, the tumor pushes on the nerve I was worse. So, and the tumor has become a little bit lesser, but other metastases have grown. So we'll see. In a couple of weeks, I have another scan, and then we know what's happening here. I don't know.
Can I ask you, and if this is too much, you let me know. What does it feel like to lose your voice when it's such a big part of who you are?
A part of me already died. It feels like that. I miss part of my soul, kind of. It's difficult because, I mean, if I had the cancer, but I still could sing, it would be a bit easier. Yeah, but it is what it is.
I understand.
I changed a lot in the way I'm living, but also not too much because I'm not really. I don't know. Everybody has. Oh, you must try this. You must try that. But I have my own way, and I know I react better to the chemo than the pulmonolog doctor thought. So, I mean, yeah. And I'm still one of the lucky ones.
Oh, yes.
A friend of mine, she fell down November the 7th, and on November the 22nd she heard, there's nothing we can do. So she got days, weeks, and I had already almost half a year, and I still going strong between the chemo. I'm strong. I don't feel sick. I don't have pain. That's so. It really is a sniper kind of thing. You know it's somewhere, but you don't know when it's gonna shoot. Kind of. But I keep on doing my best, and yeah.
Does it give you comfort knowing that your performances made people happy? That they will always remember that at this special event in their lives, you were there to sing for them?
Yeah.
Does it give you comfort knowing that these songs that you have written are going to have a life forever?
Yeah, that I'm still getting used to that idea because you and Caroline, the Caroline Innetveld, she who offered me those 5 songs, those productions. You make it real, kind of. So I'm still getting used to that idea from, wow, Caroline likes it, Rob likes it, and you two make it happen at the moment. And I hopefully get inspired to do more. Because we are going to have a listening session with a couple of good friends and my sister and the musicians. And then we go to the Whistle Art Academy, Whistle Art Studios in the Netherlands. They are kind of a bit the Abbey Road studios of the Netherlands.
Cool.
In the 80s and 90s.
Cool.
And I was there for a year, kind of after the Songwriter Academy. I went to the Whistle Art Academy. And so in January, we are going to listen to those 5 songs. But there are also going to play 5 songs. And in 3 songs, I play the guitar. And friends of mine sing the song. And there are 5 different songs like this. And Caroline, she's an accordion player. She will sing one of my songs. And another girl, she will also sing one of my songs. So, and yeah. And that's in the same room where Elton John recorded his LP in the 80s, kind of.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
When is that happening?
January 21st. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. That sounds great. Absolutely fantastic.
So,
I
but
love
that's
it.
thanks to Caroline and this also your words, because I have only written one song in this half year. And I don't know if I write anymore, but I hope I will. But the inspiration is so gone at the moment. It's so survival. I mean, the last 2 days I was very, very nauseated because of the chemo of last week. So I couldn't do anything. I had to cancel all the appointments. I didn't have much appointments, but I hoped to take a walk with a friend, but I couldn't walk. So you never know how you wake up and what the day brings. And it's difficult to get in the zone again. So, but maybe thanks to you and Caroline and those lovely musicians that made this production, I still hope that the spark will be lit again and that I just make songs.
Anouk, there is nothing wrong with what's happening right now with your creativity and songwriting. There's nothing wrong with that. I always tell people it's really hard to be creative when you're worried about paying the bills. You know, this is a speech that I give to people where it's like, try to be financially responsible, try to get a job that allows you to earn some money, but it doesn't eat up all of your time so that you can't devote any of your time to music. And so I say it's always hard to be creative when you're worried about paying the mortgage or paying your water bill or whatever bill it is that you have in front of you. You know, it's hard to go to sleep at night with things like that. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be given a terminal cancer diagnosis and then trying to be creative at the same time. I would be the same as you. My entire focus would be on fighting this.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, and the fun part is when I got the diagnosis, I lived for 2 years already in a little village, 40 minutes from Nijmegen. And as soon as I got the diagnosis, I knew, because there wasn't even a supermarket in the village. So I knew I had to move. So I got my first inkling June the 7th that it was wrong. June 16th, I got the diagnosis. And on August the 2nd, I moved here in this apartment where I live now. And August the 8th, I got my first chemo. So
yeah,
it was so much at once. So, but now I'm settling down, but I still haven't got it back. One little song I wrote in Dutch, but I still hope it because I sometimes I see things and I know, oh, that's a song, but I can't. But who knows?
And that's okay.
I keep on.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just, you know that's okay. It's
yeah. I don't blame myself or I don't push myself.
No.
I accept it.
Yeah.
I'm glad with everything that's happening now with the songs that already exist.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens.
I'm looking at the list of songs right now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more songs that you have on here.
Yeah, but the last 4 are just 1-minute songs.
Okay. Which one would you think that I should play? Let's Just Show Up or Whiskey and Angels? Which one would you think would be good for this final song in the podcast?
Yeah, Let's Show Up. That's a happy song.
Okay.
Yeah, Whiskey and Angels, they have to find somewhere in a couple of next weeks. It will be on YouTube. I don't have Spotify yet. So I'm also going to find out about Spotify, how I put my songs there.
Yeah.
But I put everything on SoundCloud and YouTube. And Whiskey and Angels will be on YouTube. But that's not a good song to end it with.
But it's something that people could go and listen to if they wanted to do more of a deeper dive
in a
into your
couple
music.
of weeks, yeah. And maybe if this,
Yeah, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be there. It'll be there.
I'll be sure. I'll make sure it's
okay. So, and people would find you on YouTube under just Anouk Balins.
Yeah.
That's it. So just search for that, and then you'll find all the songs that are on there. Okay, here comes Let's Just Show Up. I'm so looking forward to hearing this. This is great. I feel like I'm getting my own little private concert from you today, which is amazing. Here we go.
I'm honored.
So you got plenty of plans, you got so many words. You want to put in a poem, a story, a song that needs to be heard. You can watch from afar and see the others succeed or fail. There's no difference between them and you, the devil is in the details. It's tenacity, actively with certainty, continuously, the tragedy and the comedy. Write it down. Let's just show up and see what happens now. Let's just show up and see what happens now. And you can run, you can hide, you can let it all slide. If you think that's alright, but just show up and see what happens now. You think you're not good enough, you think there's too much to learn. You tell yourself it's better to stay cold when there's a chance you may get burned. It's tenacity, actively with certainty, continuously, the tragedy and the comedy. Write it down. Let's just show up and see what happens now. Let's just show up and see what happens now. You can run, you can hide, you can let it all slide. If you think that's alright, just show up and see what happens now. That's the way things change. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
So good. So good. To me, that is you. That's you. Let's just show up and see what happens now. For sure. That's what I've seen you do time and time again. You always have shown up. You always have tried new things. You've always, been there. Even in our one-to-ones, there were some dark times that you were going through before. I know with the passing of your mother, different moments, but you still showed up. You never canceled. You always showed up and just, we went through it. We walked through things together. And so you showed up, I showed up, and we saw what happened. That's exactly you. And that's what I hope other people will do as well. Just don't run, don't hide, just show up and see what happens. What is the worst that can happen when you show up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. What a great message. And what a great vocal as well. It's so good. And just like everything in there is, the music is fantastic. I love that little chord change that's in the chorus where it goes somewhere a little bit different and then comes right back. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It was a lot of fun writing those, and also those vocals. And I love to have the second voice and the third voice. And
I can tell.
yeah, it was fun.
But also your voice is so catchy, and it lends itself very well to multiple harmonies going on in there. It just sounds so good. I love it. I love that you've got these recordings. I love that you've got the full band, and that these aren't just sitting on your computer, just sitting there for the rest of time. They're going to get out there, and I have your word that they're getting on Spotify, on Apple Music, on all the different streaming services. It's coming out, not just on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Anouk, I usually end these podcasts by asking you if there's any words of advice that you would give for the next generation of females that are coming along that would love to do what you have done, that would love to follow in your footsteps, do you have any words of advice to give them?
Just show up. Just do it, and keep on trying, and be prepared for that not everything works, but if you keep on continuing, then things will work. And also, you don't always know what's going to happen, and you think, oh, I'm going to go that way. But sometimes you make a corner and you think, oh, that's also nice. So don't have no tunnel vision kind of things, but be open for what comes on your path and say yes to things. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, a lot of things, but
I love it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I feel like you've done all those things. Oh, one more.
And one thing,
yeah,
for the songwriters, for the young people that are going to songwrite, don't be scared to write bad songs. Because if you only want to write good songs, that's not possible. So accept that some of the songs are not as good as you think should be, but you have to get them out of your system to get the new songs. And maybe if you listen to your bad song a half year later, then you think, it's not that bad. So just write, and don't set the bar too high for yourself. Just keep on writing. Keep on writing.
That's great advice. Also, another thing that I think from you, just when I read your lyrics, is if I could jump in here and almost be your voice for a second, don't be afraid to write songs that are looking at things that you wouldn't think would be acceptable for people to listen to. You know, like a photographer will take pictures and will eventually see that there's beauty to be found in almost every angle of every object here on this planet. And the same thing with your lyrics, is that there's beauty to be found in the tiny details, in something that you could easily walk past or overlook, that there's a song to be written there about that. So I think that's something that I've learned from you, definitely, is just don't be afraid to write about the stuff that isn't so grandiose. Don't be afraid to write about stuff that is just this. It only exists in this tiny little spot, this tiny little world, but you can find a way to write about it and relate it to everybody else on the planet, which you do so beautifully.
Yeah, thanks.
You're more than welcome. I thank you, Anouk, for spending time with us here on this podcast. Thank you for letting me talk to you again. It's always amazing. I feel like my cup has always been filled whenever I speak to you. It's really good. I wish you all the very best with everything that is coming up and your current treatment. And I so look forward to hearing about what happens in January. And I hope you will let me know all about those things, and keep posting everybody as well. Keep telling everybody about your progress and what's going on, because we are all rooting for you. We are all, we're all screaming out your name and sending you love and positivity and strength from all corners of the world.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for this lovely conversation. I loved it. I loved you already when we had the one-on-ones, and in that year. It's really great, and I'm very honored that you think so high of me and my songs. So
I do. I absolutely do. And thank you for sharing your songs with me. And hopefully this podcast helps to share your music with others and your story with others as well. And that it continues to inspire. You continue to inspire countless generations going forward. Anouk, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And I will talk to you very soon.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. All the best, my dear.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned for the next episode of Women in the Music Industry, coming soon. Let's embark on this incredible journey together, celebrating the women who are reshaping the music business one note at a time. If you enjoyed hearing this podcast, please take a moment and give it a like, a rating, or a follow. Your support helps immensely. We'll see you next time.